We're going to look at your first Illustrator option for your final project. I'll make my way to the website. Remember that you have to choose one of the Illustrator options. What we're looking at in this movie is a few tips in case you choose the robot option. Let's look at requirements. First of all, you have to create the robot entirely inside Illustrator. It has to include a head, a body, legs, feet, arms, and some kind of hands. You also have to add some detail, like gauges and dials, and even just little lines and circles can work. When you get yours put together, if you choose this option, save it on your network drive. It's for your final project, it's an Illustrator option, and it's the robot. So there's your file name right there, Final Illustrator Robot. You'll be able to turn this in on My Big Campus. It would go for your final project for your Illustrator option. Remember, you have to choose one of these three. Let's get to Illustrator and take a look. Here's an example. I have a few tips. Yours doesn't have to look just like this. The design is a little bit up to you. But you do have to have those particular body parts that are required, and you have to have some detail. When I say detail, I mean even things like these lines and circles. Those add detail to the robot. You see this dial right here. Let's take a look at a couple of tips. When you start this off, click File and New. Choose your orientation. I like landscape. You could do it either way. A couple of things. When you're drawing the head, you don't have to make the head the same shape that I did. But here's a few tips about how I made mine. Draw an oval. Lay a rectangle across the top of it. Get them both selected. Go to the window menu and get your Pathfinder. Use minus front, second button on the first row. It gives me kind of that dome-shaped head like you saw over here. Fill that with whatever you want. Stroke it with however thick of a stroke you wish. There, I've got a head. Pretty similar to the one I had here. For the eye shape, I could do this kind of thing. Make an oval, create another oval. I did Alt-Drag, select them both. Let's intersect that. Fill that up with a different color. Size it down some. Don't want it to be quite that big. Control plus to zoom in a little bit. Let's put one black pupil in the middle of that eye. Remember that when you construct things of more than one piece, you can select them and group them. Control G. Once items are grouped, you can size them, move them around as you desire. Zoom back out a little bit. Drawing arms and legs can be as simple as using some rectangles, but if you wish, you could bend them a little bit. Use your white arrow. Convert those anchor points to curves. Play with them as much as you wish. The exact shape is up to you. You see how I made mine in my example. If you're working on legs and feet, you want to combine them together. Draw a couple of rectangles. Arrange them how you want. You could group them, or you could come to the Pathfinder and unite them. Make it one shape. And you would be free to fill that with whatever color you want. Stroke it however thick you want. When it comes to making some hands, you have to have some kind of hand on your robot. Here's an idea. If you want the claw-shaped hand, make an oval, Alt drag it. Didn't get my Alt key down. Make this other oval a little bit smaller and lay them on top of each other, kind of like that. We'll move that up just a little. Get them both selected and use that Pathfinder trick minus front. Gives me a nice claw-shaped hand, which I could size, put at the end of an arm, and make it whatever color I want. So you can see the idea there. It's starting to come together. All the parts of the robot are coming together. I could take this arm and group it. I could Alt drag it. And remember this trick. Right click, transform, reflect. Vertical reflection, I'll preview that. Click OK. That gives me an arm that's just the opposite of the first one. Now these parts that I'm building don't look exactly like the parts that I used here, but your robot doesn't have to look exactly like this. But it does have to have head, and look back at the requirements if you need to. It has to have head, body, legs, feet, arms, hands, and details. There's some tips on building your robot if you choose that option.